Hello, hello.
We're gonna be coding again, right?
Probably. That seems what we do these days. I don't know. Maybe we need to get back to spreadsheets eventually. Maybe
Or we
never.
need to write our own software to write spreadsheets, I guess.
Yes,
This is the
build our
case.
own spreadsheet software. That's a great idea.
It's posting to Mastodon that we are live. Okay, so we are not going to work on the thumbnailer anymore. I will get back to it probably together with Pierre once I kind of manage to steal his time a little bit to do a little bit UI on that side.
Yeah.
But there's another itch we want to scratch, I say, comes from you to
That's it.
basically go back to the good old days of Google Plus, right? At least partially, maybe not
Yeah.
quite. But do you want to give a quick brief of what you've been
Yeah.
doing?
Sure. So, so this is a thing. If you've got a family with kids or a large family that shares photos a lot, yeah, they're kind of different options out there. It's like something we used to use, family group, family home or something. It's a French product. It's pretty good, but it's got like hundreds of features. It's not just about photos. It's you can share calendars and notes and shopping lists and da, da, da. It's just sort of a bit overwhelming. Then you have, of course, the classic things like Instagram, but Instagram has become about broadcasting your identity and what you're up to. It's not about sharing photos anymore. It's about broadcasting yourself, and so that doesn't really fit. What we end up doing is sending photos around on WhatsApp, which is kind of sucky. And the reason WhatsApp works at the moment is that it's the only single platform that everybody uses, no matter whether they're on Android or iOS, no matter what. And we can't share through Google Photos because we've got like grandparents or parents or whatever who don't use Google Photos, and to get them on photos kind of painful, and get their Google accounts and that sort of thing. And so this has been a bit of a headache for a while. But the funny thing is, it used to not be a headache. When my kids were much smaller, we used this very simple social network called Path, 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 which is kind of hard. It didn't succeed, didn't survive. Maybe it's because it's a bit hard to say that word. Um, but Path was a pretty cool, very simple social network. It was just like a big long timeline. You could write some updates, you could put some photos in there, you could react to things. But one of the characteristics about it, which is maybe why it also didn't survive in a way, was that it was quite limited as like only for the people you knew, right? It wasn't you didn't have like strangers going in there. You didn't get sort of random people reacting. I mean, that's why Twitter became successful and what have you. So it was really quite limited. Anyway, that's gone away. It's been dead for probably 10 years now, maybe not quite as long as that. But that sort of reminded me of something that worked really well, and we used it a lot. And then the other thing I think we've been talking about now and again, which I think also really worked really well, was circles, because that allowed you to group people together. So these ideas are like groups, kind of like smaller private networks, effectively what we're talking about here. It's kind of cool. And really, we don't care, or I don't really care about adding more and more people to my social network. I'm actually now in the stage of my life where it's like I've got my social network, and now I kind of want to interact with them more intimately, more kind of privately, sharing photos of things like kids and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of where the whole drive is coming from. Yeah.
Sounds
So
good. So
yeah.
let's do this. I think,
But
yeah,
let me add another
go
piece
ahead.
outside the functionality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's another itch I think both of us want to scratch a little bit, which is we have the strong belief that open source is going to be a fundamental part of an alternative to big American big tech, right? And to some extent it already is, but more at a kind of a lower level, sort of infrastructure level, that sort of thing. I mean, Linux is open to everybody, right? It's not controlled by any one person, just as an example. So if we believe that open source is a great place to be, a great sort of alternative way of thinking about technology, a much more open way of thinking about technology, then there's a part of it which I don't think gets embraced as much, which is like, hey, you can use open source to build your own stuff. You don't have to take it out of the box exactly as it's given. So I don't see a huge amount of that going on. Maybe I'm sure people would correct me. But what I'd like to see us starting to do is building on top of really good open source foundations. And that doesn't take away from the foundation. I would say almost the opposite. It really pushes the foundation and it gives it a sort of implicit sort of approval that people are building on top of it. So that's something we want to do. And without giving away too much, we want to build this photo sharing application on top of Nextcloud core. So we don't want to make it Nextcloud product or Nextcloud application or something like that as a limited thing. It wants to be more like its own product. Maybe we can distribute it through Nextcloud somehow in addition, but it wants to sit on top of Nextcloud as the open source foundation. So that's the second itch that we have.
That makes a lot of sense. In this case, Nextcloud is a very, very capable file hosting and sharing and a safety and security platform. Like you can trust that your photos won't be breached in Nextcloud if it's installed correctly. If a lot of companies, French government is big on it, I know governments are using it, so I think we can lean on it on that. Nextcloud's weakness is definitely the user experience. So that's why Nextcloud application or Nextcloud photos won't be like a foundation for us to build this. So we're not gonna build the next version of Nextcloud photos. We're gonna build on top of Nextcloud core that manages file hosting and login and all of sharing. They have features we can hopefully leverage to do that.
Yeah.
So our intention.
Oh, great timing for a pause, I'm afraid. Oh, yeah. You're about to say our intention.
Yeah, our intention is to make Nextcloud as a platform better. The ecosystem of Nextcloud. Not sure if you can do it standalone. I think the first UI probably will be Nextcloud app installed in Nextcloud. Maybe. Yeah. Let's see how it works. How we can get it done.
I mean, there's a kind of a hypothesis going in here, right? Which is like, oh, we're going to. I mean, this is classic kind of boxes and arrows thinking. Right? So we're going to take this piece here and this piece here, and we're just going to plug them together, and everything's going to be great. So that at that level of this is all going to work beautifully, no problem. But of course, now let's get into the reality of it and see what that really means.
Let's see where we lead. Yeah. Also, props to the Weingartner IT support.
Oh, you'll have to shout out to them again.
So I was just about to read unpaid promotion for my hosting provider called Weingartner IT, who fixed my Nextcloud installation within 30 minutes of me pinging them. Hey, something's broken. It's running again. These guys are brilliant. So if you want to get good German hosted stuff, go here. They're super nice people. They know what they do.
Maybe I'll reach out to them at some point soon. Once I've got all the dependencies on the whole family relies on. Yeah.
But I have our own Nextcloud instance that I can use to test. We also host Nextcloud or use Nextcloud as Snap technology, but we don't want to build against our production
definitely not.
system.
Definitely not.
So let me catch up what we've done so far, and I will share my screen. So what we have is we started with the product brief, which you co-wrote with a tool, which is extremely long but very detailed, which I think is a good starting point when you start using LLMs to do. Just very briefly, before we went live, let me see if I have the right tab open still. I also probed Gemini about feasibility of using this, and we iterated a little bit to get the brief right. So we now have understanding of technical terms. We don't know the architecture yet, but we're not there yet. But we know that we're building on top of core, we're not forking photos and so on. So I've done that. I've also created agents, which this is kind of now the new starting point for for projects. So I defined the name. I gave a very good, quick, this is basically human readable view, but I also refer the document saying this is where the project is defined. I also refer the design systems, which is not created yet, which is going to be the next step I think we're going to be doing. So, this is, and I also created an empty file saying, here's the tech spec for LLM content. So when you build stuff, keep it up to date so we can switch between agents quickly. This is kind of my standard foundation now. Do you want to add something?
Yeah. I really want to. I really like this kind of something for LLMs, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before. I really like that, and I think we could probably do that in the design system, right? Because the design system is, I mean, anyway, but I like it.
Probably
it just really signals the intent, right?
Yeah. So what I would say we do now, this is now committed to version control. This is actually, we're going to do this open source. So it's going to be Codeberg.
Yeah.
The repo is not public yet because, there's nothing yet. But once we have some code, I think we're going to just build it in public and let people read in. So at some later point, we're going to post the repo to Codeberg open.
Do you want me to push? So there's another piece that no, you've got it in here, maybe the Nextcloud.
Yeah, I already, the Docker.
You got that in there, great, excellent.
So that's already there. So that's basically a Docker YAML for setting up the Docker container for Nextcloud to try it, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to be what we want, but it at least gets us a running local instance for dev, hopefully for dev purposes. If we're building against the core, I don't know whether we need something a little less packaged, but we'll find out, I guess.
I have a feeling we're going to learn a lot about Nextcloud as well.
I think that's actually going to be a great side effect from this, because we're struggling a little bit, I think, in the company with Nextcloud.
So here we go. Whoa, it's bright. There's no dark mode. Is there dark mode?
You're going to get suntan.
Yeah, definitely. So for those who haven't seen this yet, this is Nextcloud. This is Claude Design, which is recently released tool for Claude. You're going to get this is a preview still, but you can get access. It's a research preview. So you get access to it if you have the Claude Pro plan. You can see I've done some things here already. But what we're going to do now is basically create the design system. And neither of us are designers. So my hypothesis here is that we're going to get to a point with this system that is going to be 80% there. Without this, we would get 10% there. My method of selecting colors is typing random hex numbers in the code, and they tend to
there was I think they still exist, these sites that give color palettes, right?
Yes, but with these tools you don't really.
I find them impossible to use this because it's just overwhelming, right? It's just like thousands of different color palettes, and I don't know where to start with that.
So I'm not going to do prototype. I'm going to do other.
Okay. Can I, whilst you're doing that, can I ask a quick question on your opinion here? So I mentioned this social network that no longer exists called Path, right? And there are characteristics of it I think are quite good. Maybe we don't have to dig into it now, but that might also be something to get some ideas out of. But let's see, maybe the LLMs can do that for us.
Can you send me a link to that one in the chat? So
sure.
This is something that we could push to.
Yeah, let me grab some.
So what I'm doing now is I'm attaching a code base, which is, there's not code. So I attached everything I just showed to you. I just attached the folder. So now Claude Design also has the same markdown files that we showed before. And now we need to give a brief to what we want to do. So I would just go and take this one here, even though it already has the. So what we don't want to do, we don't want to style it by for Nextcloud. We don't want to use Nextcloud branding.
Let me give you.
So
Let me give you a link or two, Juhani. I'll put it in the studio chat here.
yeah.
Sorry, I give you links to Quant search engine.
All right.
It's a bit tricky because, of course, the product's dead. So the best we can do is find some screenshots from the product. So hopefully they're kind of informative enough. It's
Should
kind
we
of tricky.
should we say we like this one, or
Yeah, we could.
we like the path social network, but it's a bit outdated.
Yeah, it's been really interesting going back and having a look at it, because you don't realize how design evolves, right, and moves on.
Yeah.
Looking at things that are like 8 or 9 years old, it's like, whoa. It's probably even older than that.
We want a light and delightful theme, modern theme.
Yeah.
So what are we doing now? The web app first, right? So now I think the quick question here is: do we want to first try to get it working as a Nextcloud app? I have no idea what that entails. Or do we want to get it working as a standalone web app?
My personal take is, let's try and get it as a standalone, front end to the Nextcloud backend, and see if that's even possible.
So it would be a web app that is running maybe Python, whatever backend.
Right.
That is connecting to the core from
Indeed.
backend to backend. Right?
Yeah. I mean, in my head, at least, anyone using this wouldn't even need to know Nextcloud's involved, right?
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Other than you need to log in to the account, but that should also be possible to handle.
But then we can figure out how to do that.
We can combine that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. We can figure out. But at least it's easier to get to a prototype to understanding what we actually want to build.
Indeed.
First.
Yeah. I think there's one other thing to have in here, Juhani, which is, I know from before we even start, we're going to have people of different age groups looking at this.
Yes.
So things like color contrast, it doesn't have to be fully accessible, but it has to be friendly for old people like us, and even older people than us. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's basically it.
Yep.
So now I would say build a scaffolding design system for us based on the spec.
Yep.
Build
Very
a
good.
Scaffolding and design system. Web app based on the definition.
Yeah.
On Mark MD files and above. Okay, this is what I will send. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I wish they would remove this thing here. This bottom part is really annoying, because when you look at somewhere else and whenever it writes a new tip, you think the thing is ready, or the.
What is
okay,
that?
now we
Rubber
have
band? Is that just some sort of thing to keep you entertained, or what?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, weird.
Good. So now I like this a lot in the Claude design. It goes to this system. It goes to this like process of asking questions from me.
Good.
When I did a design review of one of the applications I built, because it was unable to access so I was doing design review of an application that has login system. So it looked at the system, it understood the structure of the system, but said I cannot log in please paste a picture or a screenshot of the logged in state.
Cool.
And just now paste a picture of this paste. It's pretty good. So you just go through and then it comes out with the brief.
That's nice.
Okay, let's pick personality. Is the font big enough?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go.
If I get really close to the screen, I'm struggling.
Yeah, somebody left a comment that our stream, our kind of recording, the screens are too small, which I appreciate as a comment. I just don't know exactly how to fix it yet. I need to look into it.
That's a very good.
Especially code was unreadable, which is we need to fix.
Yeah, we probably underestimate the size of how that big that really needs to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, our recording is only 1080p. Actually, for some reason, some of the recordings were only 720, which then was unusable. But
yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so warm and cozy, calm and airy, optimistic, playful. Playful.
Playful, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, friendly. Primary accent color. You can always go that's decide for me, which I do like. It's like I don't care. Click.
Yeah, let's just decide for me. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typography. I honestly don't know enough about typography to make a decision.
How about we do the second one? Modern, friendly, calm.
Want to give it to.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Minimum text size. This is probably fine.
Okay.
17. That's probably fine. It's very comfortable. Okay, there's, yeah, that sounds good. Spacing. You do the spacing for me. Oh, this. What is the? When I go Android or Apple, or.
So we do more Apple, I suppose.
Here.
I don't know.
Oh, very rounded. We can always change this, of course, later.
Maybe change it.
How should circles themselves look? Photo LED or color coded?
I think photo LED.
Yeah, that's it. That's what people understand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do we want to do dark mode or we just do one? Dark mode later. It complicates things if you have two. I think too complex immediately.
Yeah.
We can always do it later. Visual reference page, code scaffolding. Right. Ready to import, yeah? Code?
Yeah, I think we probably settled on React, right? Actually, it's just I was chatting with Lisa, I think it was Gemini, saying which front ends, web framework do you like the most? As in, which is where you're most capable? And it did a comparison, a few different ones. I personally wouldn't touch React myself.
Me neither.
But
React seemed to get generated quite nicely.
Yeah.
Which components matter most for the one? Buttons, input, photo cards, circle.
I think.
Photos, right?
Yeah, photos.
Circle cards. These are the two bot features, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Avatars. Yeah, everything else is like secondary.
Yeah.
Accessibility.
I would say.
I don't know about this, man.
Maybe.
Adjustable text size.
Yeah,
there we go.
Let's try that.
Anything else? Anything else to brief? Should we go?
Let's just go. Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is pretty helpful.
You could also, if you have design talent, you can do much more yourself.
Yeah.
We don't. We have literally none. So for us, it makes no sense to do any. So this is a very good. But I see the power if I would give this to a designer. Like this is the current discussion of LLMs is like, will we be unemployed? Will designers be unemployed? And I think no. But the prototypes we can build are much better because we don't need to involve designer and it's going to be actually pleasant. But once you get designer involved, a good example is the wordmatch.run, which I've been building solo, and my design talent is zero. I have understanding of user interaction and UX and information architecture, but I have no understanding of visual design at all. And my usability talent also is quite zero when I build something for myself, because I just had a call with Pierre, and like I understand it perfectly, right? It's one of those things I talked in a talk just last week. I understand it, so I can't judge it myself. But when I talk with Pierre and something like that, it's very clear that because you understand, you can use these tools much more. So I think it's going to be interesting.
This comes back to the enablement. I mean, this is a really clear example, right? It's enabled you to go from zero to something, but it has also it hasn't amplified anything because there's nothing to amplify. Whereas with Pierre, it amplifies his 20 years of experience doing this.
Yeah, I'd argue I get to prototyping phase very, very quickly, but I've created now a prototype that has almost zero chance of being a product because it lacks this. The onboarding is unbearable. It's very difficult. There's so much data that you need to understand. It's like the structure is geared towards my mental model, which is the data-based model. And you can get to a point that then you have to take a step back and have an experienced expert looking at it.
I don't know if you've ever seen some of the structure work that Koi does. It's really fantastic. It just maps the whole. I mean, it's like a map basically of
he did one
a product.
Snap OS which is the automotive OS for automotive. Really impressive stuff. Very, very informative. Very good.
And another thing, I think. So I was having this conversation over the weekend with the designer, and I think having a structured view of a product actually really helps developers as well. Because I mean, we like structure. We like to think in terms of structures, and I think if designers are thinking in structures and we're thinking in structures, it gives us a common sort of frame of reference, right? So, yeah, that might be something. That might be something that AI could sort of help with eventually, or at least maybe what we could get to, Juhani, is like as we do the prototyping, it generates a structure map, and then we can kind of look at the thing we're prototyping from that slightly sort of abstracted point of view. So this is how it's mapping out. Does it make sense?
And it's capable of creating a next level documentation as well. I did for one of the projects, I asked it to create a markdown file of the tech spec. I'll look at it. Okay, this is good. But then I said, just make it nice looking HTML. And now I have like a modern looking HTML with interactivity and clicking through and create a architecture diagram that is interactive. It's no difficult. You can create modern user interface for architecture diagrams. It doesn't have to be just boring UML, right?
And indeed, I think this is also, strange enough, at least my experience with Gemini is that it's really a lot better at creating sort of visual representations of things when it's doing it as a part of HTML. If you try to ask it to create UML diagrams, it will probably create some markdown, which is useless to most people.
Yeah, well, there's a markdown UML specification which it does use, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, it doesn't make it up. There's a reason why it's doing it. But
then when you get to like documentation, like I'm really fully convinced that HTML is gonna resurface as the core documentation thing.
Yeah, I think
these
so.
Tools. It's such a nice way to as long as you don't have to yourself go edit the tables and try to justify the CSS.
Yeah.
It's a win.
Well, I suppose the reality is that standalone HTML files have always been a bit sucky because, I mean, you can put a lot in them, right? I mean, you can put SVG definitions and lots of styling and all, but that's a lot of stuff to maintain because you're mixing styling and content and layout and all of that stuff in one go. But if you don't have to ever touch that and the LLMs managing that and understanding a central style and just applying that to each document, it's kind of, I guess, what a open document format thing would look like in a different way, or a Word document that, there's a bunch of metadata embedded in it about the styling, I would guess. So it's essentially doing the same thing. We just got used to the styling and stuff being delivered separately from sort of shared locations. But
but if you think about creating a design system for a business, and then everybody using that design system to create HTML documents to send them around, they're very belt
That's it.
style, even better
Yeah.
than, you know, Google
Yeah.
Docs templates or whatever.
That's it.
All right, it's starting to be there. It's now verifying what it wrote.
Right. Right.
So a lot of stuff is now here. Tokens.
It's interesting.
Let's see what it looks like. The visual presentation is good. And now we can comment in context. So we can just write
Nice.
like, don't like.
Yeah.
I don't hate anything I see, but my skills are 0. So
I'm not wild about pastel colors, but that's fine. I can understand the competition you're going to have. I can see is if you got photos as the main content.
yeah.
If you have a very strong color palette, now you've got a conflict between the color palette and the photos. So I can see the challenge there.
Some font selections.
That's a fine font, I think.
Yeah, I don't have any problem. Yeah, I think this worked really well with the photo content.
Yeah.
They are a little bit Google Plus-y, but that might not be a problem. Yeah, there we go. File fields.
Yeah.
Okay. Not too much Instagram, more Google Plus again, but not a problem, right?
I'm not. I mean, maybe this is there's a subjective nature to these things, but the sort of cards with the big block of white and that sort of stuff. Again, it's sort of. So when I share photos with family or whatever, it's like you don't need a lot of explanation, right?
Right.
You just want to see the photo of like, hey, here I am standing here having, I don't know, coffee with my niece or something like that, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And I think it does certainly creates a kind of feeling that people don't mark up documents, right? I mean, if you're doing Instagram and there's a kind of, it's part of your social media strategy, and of course you're going to mark things up and think very carefully about titles and hooks and that sort of stuff. If you're just pushing and sharing photos, you don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
So I think that card metaphor might be something we look at.
We might have to get rid of it. Okay, but I don't see anything we need to change now. This is a good V1, right?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So what we can do here, we can tell to hand off. Now, I tried this before. It doesn't work, in my opinion.
What is that?
Also,
what is that doing? Is it?
It's a kind of it creates a link.
Yeah.
That you can just copy paste to Claude, and Claude is supposed to be able to go and download everything from the link.
Ah, okay.
But it didn't work, at least last time. It's a good idea.
Right.
You can just you don't have to download anything. However, because we want to put this in the version control as well, it's better to download the link.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
that's fair.
So what I did now is I download the whole zip file, and this is why I wrote this here, because I predicted this might happen.
Right.
So now I'm gonna go on my other display. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Opening the zip file that
We do a separate file unzipping stream for anyone who really wants to see that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm gonna unzip the zip I downloaded, which comes with a design system definitions, and I will copy it in the photo circles design system. So now it's gonna be here. And now we have a design system here.
Okay.
So here's a README file.
Yep.
That is designed for Claude, but it works with everybody else. Here's all the React components, primitives, everything else.
Okay.
And I have told agents to use this file.
Nice.
To use for all of these things.
Okay.
So that's basically it. Read the.
Is that? Sorry, can I be one of those annoying guys? Line number 5. Is that again the text is a bit small? Is that ML or MD? The README dots.
Yeah, you're very good.
I think the LLM would have figured it out.
It probably have, yeah. So it should read this anyways, but I'm just asking it to now read it because now we have more stuff.
Okay.
And now what I would then do is tell it to create the software scaffolding based on the brief.
Okay. And then the tech spec, should we just have a quick, before you do that, just...
So there's nothing yet.
There's nothing in there.
The point of this one is the LLM to keep it up to date.
Got it.
Now, if we want to create a specification now that we want to do, firstly, my stab at this would be to say, create a Python Flask backend and React frontend.
So,
but if you want something else,
shall I? Let me share something. I mean, I'm not saying we have to use it.
if you have something, we can use.
Well, just for fun, just so we can have a look at something else. Let me just share with you.
Should we do? We should do actually Kotlin backend.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. We could find a completely different
Kotlin backend.
Backend. Yeah, why not?
I mean, I've never done Kotlin backend.
Yeah.
Let's do. I've done so many Python backends over the last month.
Yeah.
I'm done with them.
The other stack is basically using. So it's kind of like a Node.js type stack, but not Node.js itself. Where there's I don't know if you come across a product called Bun, B-U-N. It's basically, I guess you've got Node.js as like the backend server. So this is an alternative Node compatible runtime, which is highly performant, highly optimized, called Bun. And then there are a few other bits. But let's do Kotlin. I think Kotlin and Ktor backend.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be nice. Yeah.
So,
well, people will hate us for doing it, but let's do it.
So what I usually have. So I don't know why, but I feel more comfortable writing here.
Right. Interesting.
I just tend to write the prompt here, and then I copy paste it to the agent. And I also have then a long list of prompts I've done before. Right. Which I don't know what to do with. Do anything with them.
Well, I guess over time you could probably pump those into an LLM and ask them to say where could you improve these prompts, right? That's probably a good thing to do.
Kotlin backend using Tor, yeah?
Ktor.
Ktor.
As a server.
Yeah, Tor is different.
Ktor. But you should say Ktor as a server, because confusingly Ktor's got the
it's both sides.
Yeah.
Ktor server.
HTTP client as well. Yeah.
I want you to build React frontend using the design system.
Yeah.
Do we want to? So what do we want to do with? Because we could now say we want to have some temporary local photo storage, which we later gonna replace with Nextcloud to be able to build the front end. So this is my thought process in this one would be just I just want to ignore the backend. I want to be able to upload photos, but they can be stored on local file system. Don't worry about login, don't log anybody else, build the one user application. But prepare for me to connect it to Nextcloud, because that will allow us to rapidly prototype the front end.
Let's do that.
The reasoning I would to do this is for us to understand what we actually are building.
Yeah.
Because now we have an idea. You've communicated to me the idea, and we have a shared 20% of the idea, and 80% of the idea we think we share, and we don't.
And I think that's the interesting thing. It's like what you heard and what you understood and what I said and what I understood, we don't know if they're the same or not.
No, and they're not going to be the same. And you and I have been working together 20 years. And we know each other quite well, and we still gonna miscommunicate. And think if one of us would be a client when we met for the first time this week, it would be completely different.
And especially if you think about it, I made a lot of reference to a product that you've never used.
Right.
As a frame of reference for me, it's like in my head that I'm thinking about that all the time. There's no way you're ever going to know what it's like to use that product. Right.
I'm repeating myself because I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Anything else? So Ktor, React front-end, design brief, design system, temporary
it's okay.
backend.
I think that's
database.
okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just sitting here thinking it's going to be great because we're never going to have to touch the Gradle files. That's going to be the best part of this whole project.
The thing is, I built an Android application with Gemini, and that was also exactly where it kind of started fumbling around.
Yeah.
Gradle files. Want to install recommended container tools. Why would I?
I don't know.
What? No, I don't want. I don't know, Microsoft, why you keep pushing this stuff for me. I don't. Everything's going to be command line. I don't need any tools for VS Code at all.
Well, they're pushing you so that you get so dependent on the plugin system.
Yeah.
Of course, right. Cool.
Oh, this is probably going to take a while.
Well,
this is something maybe we should have used Gemini for this, for the planning mode. But
well, we can stop. How about we stop and just redo it with Gemini? Because I think Gemini is going to know a lot. Should know.
Yeah.
You would hope it's kind of Kotlin friendly, right?
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's a good thing to do. Okay.
I think there's something I haven't really kind of got my head around yet, which is like consistency of model usage, whether you know, or non-consistency. I don't know, the opposite, which is switching between different models for different things. Oh, did you? Oh, how come you jump to anti-gravity then? Just. Oh, wait,
just making sure. I don't remember if Gemini needed this .gemini or sorry, yeah, lagging. I misspelled the thing. I just don't remember if Gemini needs this .gemini thing to always read the agents or not. Yeah.
But I was asking you, is the reason you jumped to anti-gravity? I know it's basically Visual Studio Code under the hood, but
because this will give me the especially a big task like this, me the contextual commenting for the planning.
Great.
Stuff.
Okay.
So I will just paste the same prompt here.
Yeah.
That's basically the only reason. Also, I haven't configured my Visual Studio to run Gemini.
Okay. Okay.
It is just I'm locked into this Google plan.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't know. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I use Claude in the other tool and Gemini in the other tool, and then I know what I'm doing. I even have a different theme in anti-gravity, so it's immediately clear which one I'm using.
No. I mean, I think none of these things are kind of. I mean, we're all just figuring it out, right? So.
No.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then there's a certain amount of whatever works for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wonder. Let me see if Enrique had any find skills.
He had a design skill, right?
Skills. There was a design skill, but we don't need that. Was there anything for Kotlin?
No.
No.
Retrofit. I mean,
I
bet you there's.
Well, there's Compose, but we don't really. I don't think we don't need Compose because front end tooling. Web front end design pro. Yeah, no. Okay, we have an implementation plan to review.
Okay, well, what's it telling us now?
React template for the byte. Yeah, that's what normally standard Kotlin creator project.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Open questions. Front end stack.
TypeScript.
JavaScript, React. Or
No, it should. I think we should just. Yeah, we should say it has to be TypeScript. Yeah.
Okay. Backend setup. Standard creator Kotlin DSL.
Yeah.
Cater app. Do you have an existing installation? No, like a new one. Good.
Yeah.
Documentation will be put there. This is design system new. Design system. Copy the design system files. Okay, good. That's fine. Backend, new uploads, verification plan. This looks good to me. Do you see anything that should be changed?
I guess browser. No, I mean I could my my problem is I could overcomplicate things, but that looks fine. I had some ideas came to mind, but they're not necessary. Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah. That was one of the things that came to mind, is some sort of startup script. I was thinking actually you could probably get, if you've got npm in there anyway, you could probably get that to run the Gradle, run the whole backend as well. But it feels a bit weird to have npm running the Kotlin stuff. So that would be
well, whatever works.
Whatever works, yeah.
So now you can bet on Polymarket how much is it going to compile when it's ready.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, to see what the experience is going to be like with Gradle, right? Because Python there's no compilation, so it's nice and fast, and the devs sort of iterations are easy.
Well, it compiles when you run it. You still have to. It's still kind of, at least parts of it. You just run the server and then it goes like.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
But yeah, at least with Android it was pretty good. So what I did is I had Android Studio open.
Yeah.
But I used Gemini and Anti-Gravity to build the app.
Yeah,
Very often it created code that didn't compile. So on Android Studio there's also a Gemini tab. And whenever it doesn't compile, there's a link directly at the bug saying fix with AI. So then it pipes it to Gemini. So one poor Gemini was just fixing bugs from the other Gemini.
Actually, that's perfect though. That's perfect. Yeah. Although I wonder whether the Gemini that created the bugs ever got to learn about the bugs. I suppose it could sort of guess that somebody else had updated it, and that sounds like a great job. Fixing compilation problems. The thing that's always been, I don't know, good and bad in the whole, let's call it sort of Java-y ecosystem, which Kotlin's still in, is the whole package management piece. It's kind of good, but then it always just feels like a lot of bloat when you actually see these things run and loads of stuff's getting downloaded. I always feel that with Node as well, to be honest.
But it's when I was like, because I took a long break from Android and I was doing some web stuff, Python and React web stuff. The iteration speed is massively quick.
Yeah.
With these tools.
Yeah.
And then you go to Android and 2 hours, 2 minutes compiling Gradle to run the app again. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm referring to. Is like. So it'd be interesting to see. Maybe if we get kind of tired of it, we can just cut out and swap over to something else. And I think that's, in theory, one of the, if we don't leave it too long, right, one of the things that LLMs could do is to say, just replace this with another backend.
Yeah. We could do something like writing quite heavy tests for all the APIs first, and then swap it and see what tests you'll run.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure yet that I fully believe in the value of the tests written in these sort of single sessions. I mean, that's something on my list to try and look at is writing tests in a kind of different agent, different session.
You need to then put some guardrails in place for sure.
That's it.
There's this risk of the LLM finding a broken test and just fixing the test instead of the code. It's like, oh, it's not
For
returning
sure.
this. Well, fixed, right?
I think it has to be in a sort of system prompt or something like
Yeah.
that. Maybe Enrique's when he's available, which might not be for a week or two, can come and jump in and work with us on that. That'd be kind of interesting. But I've had, I mean, I was doing something yesterday, just going out and using getting some code to go and use an API and throw some data into a front end, and yeah, all the tests are passed, like sort of 60 tests are passing, all great. And you try and run the thing and it all falls over. And it's like, well, what's the value of the test if the thing doesn't even run, right? And you start to ignore the fact that it's got tests. It's just a token exercise in eating tokens, it feels like. So yeah.
Well, this one is unsurprisingly taking quite a long time.
So where did it get to? Okay, it's writing the grade.
I think it's still working on the back-end stuff.
Right. Okay. This is where it takes 10 minutes to write a hello world in Kotlin. I mean, what are the other choices? So I also played around. I was up in Manchester over the weekend at an open source event, and so I was out having some breakfast, and I was sort of throwing around some ideas with a LLM, and it was like, oh, you could build all this stuff in Rust. I'm like, okay, cool, but then you're 100%. I mean, I would be 100% dependent on the LLM because I know nothing about Rust, right? And this is where it starts to become. I mean, I've had conversations with people before. It's like, yeah, I can build anything I want, but if you really don't understand what the thing is doing, that's really uncomfortable. And you can simulate that. I mean, even though we're technical, we can simulate that pretty well, right? For ourselves, just by trying to build something in a language and ecosystem we know nothing about.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, I'd say I'm pretty much like that with the React frontend. I have no idea what it's doing.
yeah.
Python is,
but
Python
that
is
feels
very
less.
readable, but yeah. True.
That feels less scary. You know, to have a whole lot of JavaScript doesn't feel that scary. Sort of a whole lot of Rust code being spit out. I don't know. Maybe it's just psychological on my side.
My computer is starting to slow down, so it means some Java code is being compiled.
Is this the decision to use Kotlin? Is this your subtle hint that you need a new machine?
It's not very subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did tank my computer quite badly with the Android Studio.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The new versions really are not meant for old machines like mine.
Yeah, I've been just sort of resurrecting a few old machines and just trying to see actually which ones are actually good to run in modern world. Maybe by the beginning of next year we need to.
I just really don't want to buy a Mac. Really don't want to buy a Mac.
I'm not sure if it's needed, to be honest. I mean, I think if you want to run some local LLMs, then yeah, probably. I keep going in these sort of cycles where I'm like, oh, maybe I'll look at running some local LLM. Maybe I won't. Maybe, and it, yeah. I was back on the cycle of thinking about it, but in the end, I think you're spending a lot of money to run a highly quantized version of the thing you'll be paying for if you run it.
There seem to be some options. There's LLMs Tuxedo OS. This is software.
It's a software thing they're writing. It's based on KDE. You're going to like it. I think there's no from managing your local LLMs. I mean, Tuxedo probably would have some pretty good hardware for.
Yeah, I wonder how they.
If you go to a sort of
They have like LLM based
Maxi system. If you go to the Maxi system, yeah, you'll find some. You put it like a big GPU.
Yeah,
they're nice looking machines.
It fit my my background.
That's it.
Yeah, I bet you could run Tuxedo.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. They've got one of their laptop series. You can buy an additional water cooling unit. So it's a box that sits next to your laptop that cools your machine. That'll be fun. Don't really need it, but just the idea of having a water cooled laptop, just anyway.
Peeking what it's saying about.
Okay, so it's.
This is the spec for LLMs. Well, that's good. It's made these notes. Good.
We're done.
We are done. Start scripts.
What's it? What's
Where
that?
is the
PS1. What is that?
No idea. PowerShell.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Java
of course.
quick. I have PowerShell somewhere open.
PowerShell.
Okay, start backend.
Oh, it's not one. It's an L. PSL. PowerShell. Failure. Okay. Oh, you don't have the right jar. Ah. JVM8. So, do you use something to manage your Java versions?
Gemini.
Okay. I would recommend. I mean, you can also get Gemini to manage it for you, I'd imagine. But
last time they were not doing the Android stuff. It was downloading some.
You could also use some SDK Man. I don't know if you've used that before. That's really good.
I don't do any Java. That was the.
I mean, it's a very good way of managing all of the sort of Java things. You just then switch your Java version whenever you want, really.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you're getting back into the Java world, Java sort of ecosystem with your Android as well.
That's it. Yeah. Did we try running again? Sure thing.
Just different red messages. That's okay.
Oh. Yeah. It moves. It should stay on the same folder.
Right.
It moves the the terminal to new folder.
This is the bit that's always joy. This is when it starts downloading. But
probably need to actually do a new. I don't trust it enough to run both at the same time. Build failed.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess this is pretty normal for for this. Now I could probably just say write a test, make sure the backend starts. That could probably just iterate itself. It should be able to verify it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain amounts where you kind of want to know what's going on, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you could just tell it, start the back end, and if it fails, just keep fixing it until it works. But it just feels that's a great opportunity for it to kind of do some really nasty things. Hey, what's since when is Gradle a server process?
Mm.
I'm not
I need a new
into the.
computer soon. It's gonna destroy everything I have.
It looks like the experience of my running my stuff on that ThinkPad I got given. I mean, I think that's a yeah.
I'm not happy about this remove item recurse force command. That's one of those things that go whoopsie.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder whether at some point we should just try and write some back-end Swift, see what that's like.
Yeah, Apple's using Gemini, right? So
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of iOS code that it's been trained on, not Swift code.
yeah, I guess this is using Cradle makes it much less entertaining stream.
Well, we haven't got too far.
All the Android developers know exactly what's going on.
I think let's see how it goes on this stream. I mean, if we get to the end of the stream or maybe the next one and we feel that we're just sitting around waiting for Gradle to do its thing, then maybe we change our mind and go back to Python or something.
It's going to be interesting to see if Nextcloud nicely support this idea of connecting backend to backend, or are they expecting front-end connection? But I guess the backend to backend must work, because if you look at the open project, which is not actually very open in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like OpenAI. They have fully their own application is fully compatible with Nextcloud, but doesn't require Nextcloud.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, my simple think about it is like whenever you have things like mobile apps talking to the back end, that suggests that there's got to be some contract that allows you to talk to the back end at some level, right? So whether that's something that you have to bake into Nextcloud, that you build a kind of API within Nextcloud to do some stuff, or whatever,
right?
It's doable somehow. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got excited. I thought it was running.
Nothing happens as fast with Cradle.
Now I feel foolish to believe that it would have actually run. It's just as simple as that. The good thing is, he says, hoping is that this is like a one-time thing, and once this is done, the first time.
As long as you don't change any code, it's one time.
Well, as long as you don't have any dependency changes, right?
Yeah, it should be fine. Once you get it run, failed again.
Yeah.
But every time it goes further, so you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain feeling that if you had started IntelliJ, said start a new project, you'd be up and running already.
Yeah, it could be. Need some Kotlin skill.
Oh, I was talking to I've met some really interesting people over the weekend at this open source event. But one of the guys, I had quite a few beers at that time. And I was talking to this guy, he was a massive guy, he was like about a foot taller than me. and he kept buying drinks. So anyway, so I was pretty drunk. But
You're gonna
he
lose in
was
that situation,
exactly. And I'm doing it again later this week with a friend of mine from school. But yeah, he was telling me how he still uses Eclipse as he just like I do everything with Eclipse because I just know how it works and it just runs. It's kind of for a moment, maybe it was the drinking got me thinking, oh, maybe I should try and install Eclipse again and see what it's like. I think it was the beer that made me think like that.
The previous job, before you hired me for the first time, was my job was to build Eclipse plugins.
Yeah, great.
Spent 4 years doing that.
Nice.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Well,
It's quite painful. There's some things about the Eclipse framework was, it allowed you to do everything.
That's true.
And it was truly cross-platform already.
Yeah.
That was 2005, 6.
Yeah.
I think a project manager ran it on Windows and I ran it on Linux, and
yeah,
there was no problem.
Always worked. Yeah. I remember
trying to get files to synchronize.
that whole plugin system at the time was like, it was kind of I mean, thinking back then, it was pretty neat, right? That there wasn't a lot of plugin based software, and we took the idea of that plugin stuff and built a whole product based on OSGI. The idea that you had a core product and then you could then contribute modules depending on, this was a very much an integration platform. Yeah. So depending on what you're trying to integrate with, you just say, hey, I'm just going to load in this module, which is an OSGI plugin, I guess they called it. To say, oh, it has now these capabilities.
Basically Eclipse, right?
And yeah, that's where we got the idea from. It's from Eclipse. It's like, we just extend the capabilities of the core platform by loading in modules, which actually was a smart idea. But it was just OSGI was painful, right?
It was one of those things. So it was technically very good. You could do everything, but because you could do everything, it was difficult to do anything.
Yeah, right. Right.
What are you trying to do?
Allow in workspace.
Eclipse. It's instantly Eclipse.
Oh my God. What's was it called Adoptium?
Yeah, it's doing something from Eclipse Foundation, probably.
Well, we just
Let's
missed.
see.
Now that we're talking so fondly about Eclipse, we just missed the main Eclipse conference that happens. It's called the OCX. Happened last week in Brussels. But
yeah. Well, now I have Eclipse, whatever.
how much disk space do you have on your machine?
Not much anymore. I'm starting to really run out. Really, like it's funny because there was a period of time where you didn't need any disk space.
Right.
At all. And now I do video editing and this stuff.
You can forget it.
Just eating everything. I have 20 terabyte desktop hard drive just so I can dump all the video files immediately there when I'm done.
I mean,
it's just impossible. Every time I try to empty videos from my camera, the Windows just says, "Oh, you can't do this." That's not best.
I mean, it is mad, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's building.
Maybe the Kotlin idea was a bad idea.
Let's see. Let's give it a chance. Let's get it running. I mean,
let's take a look at what it actually did.
Well, before we start stream, I think the rule has to be we have to compile the application before we start the stream, at least once.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Well, the code it generated here isn't a lot, which is fine because it just was supposed to just download.
It's just a single endpoint.
Everything should be in front end. Yes, it's just endpoints for there. So
it's one endpoint with post and a get.
Okay. Like I wish they would stop doing this. Like okay, fool me once.
That's it. Oh no, that was you that time.
It's
Why
just
why does it keep doing that?
because
What's
it changes the backend folder to start the script.
Ah,
It fixed the script to change back
okay.
or call from the
Ah,
other folder.
right.
Somewhat annoying. But I shouldn't have to download everything again. What? What? Okay, you can access. That's a pop-up I haven't seen for a while.
Well, I mean, the reality is the application started in 0.799 seconds, so that's all the, you know. I don't know why we're complaining.
Okay, what is this executing? Oh, okay, let's just start the front end as well. Start front end.
Wait.
Okay, it just need to run the npm installed.
Yeah. Okay.
We should be able to do it. This one should be easy.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what it's executing honestly. Mining bitcoins for
Probably.
Anthropic. That's what.
It's probably sending all your data back to Oracle.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I hope it didn't install the Oracle crap. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Yeah, npm install.
Actually, that's what we should do. That's right. We should write. What the hell was it called now? Oracle had that Java product where you could basically build front ends that ran inside your database. Do you remember that? What was it called? That would be the ultimate.
Apex.
Apex. There you go. Yeah, that would be the ultimate prototyping.
I did 2 years of that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we need for prototyping. Big Oracle database. Run Java inside it. Job done.
It's immediately start lagging when I started talking about it.
I mean, the shocking thing is when you go and look at. I mean, I've had to use some Oracle products for not as a developer thing, but as this kind of supplier portal kind of products, right? And the Oracle user interface and whatever is exactly the same now as it was, when you and I first met 20-something years ago. They have not evolved. It feels like any of their UI stuff.
They kind of target audience expects it not to evolve.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay, I will do live here. We can see what happens.
We have an application. Great. Okay, I think we're done. I think the app's finished. We should just...
I will use our
That's what I was just saying, with the app's finished now. We're done. We go live.
Yeah, done. Upload photo. Okay, that's my use from our. I use YouTube.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Let's see. There's a back end, there's a front end.
It's not bad. I mean, and it actually.
I don't know what it's executing there.
Performs a function.
Well, it did call backend. Something didn't go right, but failure selected in a match. There's some failures in the backend, which I probably need to look at. But yeah, that's it. That's basically a scaffolding, right? There's a way to upload photo, and that's it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we upload another one. It works. It's there, and there's the style is correct. Can't do anything. Literally can't do anything.
That's fine. We didn't ask it to do anything, right?
No. Well. Yeah, it's good. So now I will push it to the repo because that's a good like a save point. This is more like a saves in computer games than program. First running. Before I do that.
Yeah, update.
Because I don't. There's gonna be a lot of Cradle stuff that
Yeah.
shouldn't be there. Okay. Well, the tech spec is fine. So should we do something still today, or should we pause?
I think let's pause for today. I think we kind of got ourselves to a place where we're well, actually, before we wrap up, should we just maybe write a short list of the features that we'd want to see, so that in the next few streams we're going to like, okay, these are the things we want to do.
Do you want to take over? You kind of have
yeah.
understand.
Just give me a sec.
No rush.
Let me have a think about. I'll pull the project when it's up in the repo. How about that?
It's there.
It's there already. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run the project, by the way. We're not going to sit here and watch me let Gradle do its thing. So let me pull up. Okay. Okay. Let me just have a think about what tool. Let me just open up. So also just open up an IDE for this one. I'll just get
When
that.
in doubt, VS Code.
I don't even know if I got VS Code installed, to be honest with you. I should just dive in. I have no real problem with VS Code, I have to be honest. I mean, in the end, what are we doing? We're kind of typing into agent prompts, right? It doesn't really matter what the rest of the thing does. Okay, I really hate that. So actually, let me share my screen now. I can then complain about some stuff. I think I need to do more complaining on the stream. Okay, so you're probably seeing my, and this is probably going to be something you can't see.
Command plus? Control plus?
Let me just view, zoom in, it should be Control plus, okay. But it should, no, it doesn't want to do that. Let's just zoom in, but I don't know if it does the whole, it's not really doing anything. Okay, that's probably going to be pretty impossible to restart to update. Okay, so this is Z editor, and they kind of have this thing where they shift the panels around. Like, I have no idea why they suddenly shift the panels around. But here, anyway, rather than complain about that, let me just get back to Gemini. Let's just do Pro. Let's assume that's high. That's high. Okay. So I guess we want to try and map out at least some features for prototyping, right?
So in my opinion, important thing, there's two important things. One is to POC the connection to the Nextcloud backend at some point. That's one parallel path.
Yeah.
Don't know when that's going to happen. Second thing is to build the user experience for the core features to understand if those are the right features. Basically, to understand the user goals effectively.
So I guess So I'm just going to put some things in here, then I'm going to ask it to make some recommendations, right?
Yeah.
So let's see if we can just couple of days of work based on the spec. We need to offer suggestions about features and technical tasks. Remember that we are still prototyping, so we want fast iterations to complete this. They say splits user technicals, validation, e.g. backend. Okay, let's rather than use our own brain power. Let's see. But hopefully this then will allow Gemini to kind of figure out some more context as well. And do a bit of at least mapping to the product brief. So I think there's a balance between, I mean, I've tried to go kind of a bit far the other way of trying to like plan to kind of like almost too far. And then there's the other side, which is like just making it up as we go along. And I think we're just trying to find that bit in the middle where it's like, okay, we've kind of got a roadmap of things we want to do next,
Right.
without overthinking it. Let's just kind of see if we can zoom in again. There we go. It's a bit bigger.
Maybe zoom in one more time.
Yeah.
Control plus, maybe it works now.
Yeah. It's a bit wordy for me. I prefer shorter lists. But design system.
You can put it in Gemini. Ask it to summarize.
Yeah. I might summarize your stuff. So design system, to put that into kind of a React library sort of thing, right? So components. Okay. I guess we could do that, but that feels a bit sort of like doesn't really bring us forward. It's just technical work. Circles as destinations, navigation flow. Okay. I think we need to do that, but not yet. The chronological feed, implement the postcard components. So okay, this seems to be the one that we need to do, right? Frictionless posting flow. I don't know why it has to be frictionless, but anyway. Need to prototype camera upload flow. Okay, I don't think Gemini's been super helpful, I have to be honest. Authentication and authorization prototype, yeah. Data modeling, yeah. I think we need to think about that. Nextcloud storage spike, yeah. Okay, let me now.
Actually, this could be quite interesting experiment to tell an LLM to fully mock the backend APIs. It would be super interesting to see how closely it can replicate a remote backend without actually trying it.
I suspect you could do, again, if you knew what the backend looked like and you knew the APIs and what have you, if you have a good idea of the data, I think you could do a pretty perfect, not perfect job.
Because that's good. So
job.
my thing about this one is that now that we go forward, my interest in this kind of project is to try to ensure that we can prototype very rapidly, very quickly.
Yeah.
And once we connect it to a real backend, it's going to hinder us. It's going to slow everything down. Something's going to go wrong, the data is wrong or something like that. But if you first create a mock that is actually complete Nextcloud core, it could be quite interesting to be able to switch between dev mode and real backend connection mode all the way through the project, not just the early phase, but just go. I'm going to go into this rapid UI iteration mode, so I'm going to use the mock. And just build and build and build, and then say, okay, now connect to the real backend and see if it still works.
Yeah.
Could be quite interesting.
I think that the thing with that is you need these checkpoints to see whether it's because you don't want it to kind of go off too far from your destination.
No, you need to be, everything needs to be kind of funneling you towards the end goal. You just don't know where the end goal is yet.
I'm going to throw some ideas in here. We can.
Are we sure we need a timeline?
Well, that's something. That was one of the things I thought was quite good with Path, is it just had this sort of timeline view, so you kind of had a feeling that you were sort of watching events happen. We can try it and see if it makes sense or whether it feels unnatural. Right?
What I would like us to do is to understand what is the problem it solved, and to you, it's also kind of this connection to real time or something. Timeline view is probably the right implementation for it, but that's the core of this software, right? So you're thinking about the grandparent view, where they just have a. So am I correct to assume that what we want to do, we want to have a server management interface or admin interface, which is just for that family. And then there's going to be grandparents who are going to be connecting to it that have much simpler UI, probably on a mobile device, right? So you could connect to just a family album and just browse through a timeline and do nothing. Maybe like or comment, I don't know.
So I think there are going to be some people who can invite others or something like that, right? But the simplicity of it is, I mean, I think the timeline thing is quite. I mean, for me, that was part of the missing thing, is because you kind of feel that. How do I put it? You feel that sort of like things are happening sort of in real time. You see things happening. It's, this thing happened today, earlier this afternoon, right? And it just gives you, it's a weird sort of feeling of more connection to the event rather than a whole list of photos.
I think it's interesting to see what we could do to make it even better. Like, could you create something that is more comprehensive experience than just timeline? You know, could you bring location information or something like that to help? You know. Also, is the purpose to share? Is the purpose to create a one photo album and share that to everybody? Or is the purpose for everybody to have their own photo album that's going to be shared into one point?
So for me, the intention is there's a single collective thing of photos, right? So there's a difference between my album is stuff that I manage and I own. And then the shared content is kind of a bit ephemeral, right? It exists because at the point I've shared it, but the real long-term ownership of it is still with me in terms of,
But you can invite other people to share to the same context.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so So you can. So what we use this, I think you used the same thing, because I think I got the idea from you, where we used the Google Hub to we tagged a shared photo album to show on the Google Home Hub, Nest Hub nowadays, I guess.
Right.
Which was shared with my grandparents, but they only had to read. My kids' grandparents. They only have read rights to it. My wife and I have write, so we can both share photos there. Now that worked really well, other than there's one social aspect that failed this in our family. My wife is a perfectionist photographer. And when I shared something that wasn't perfectly framed or wasn't perfectly straight, I was told, why do you share a photo that's so bad? So that's a kind of, that became a friction. Like I stopped sharing it because the photos I shared weren't good enough. And I'm not a photographer, so I don't have the skills to do that. I said, look, this
Yeah.
kid is smiling and rolling in mud. Click share. But then it wasn't artistically correctly done.
Right.
So I was critiqued because like, why you share sub-quality content, even if it's inside family only.
Yeah, that's an issue.
So I would need an approval process. Basically, there would be an admin access to my wife who go like, nope, this is not good enough. Okay.
Well, yeah. I think for the simplicity, we could avoid that feature. So once it's there, it's shared. You could delete a photo, right?
Yeah, but I think there's because I like to, when start of a project, I like to not us to limit ourselves to a small, narrow vision.
How about that?
When you, okay, that's a good one. But the narrow vision often becomes accidentally. You think about some feature and you type it down as timeline. Now, you have accidentally designed the user interface.
Yeah, so great. Let's leave it in then, and we can thrash that out, because I'm trying to get to, as we did talk about it, I'm trying to get to a result, right?
Yeah.
And my articulation of the result is timeline, but actually that's not what I want, right? What I want is that feeling of being in the moment, or understanding that we are sharing actual things as sort of as they happen. It has that feeling, right? Whether actually I'm sharing something at the moment it happened or an hour later, it doesn't really matter. But there's a sort of sense of, as time goes by, I'm taking part in an event or a moment where I wasn't there.
Right. This is good, but it is kind of two different things here.
Right.
Happening. One is what you're writing here is the technical foundation we need to build before we can start iterating the user interface. Right? But I just need to be quite conscious about it, that we don't accidentally say, well, it's ready now because all the features are there, when before we thought about the features that we actually needed. And of course, we need to build probably just a stream of photos first, so we understand how it should be.
Yeah.
But it will be quite interesting to think. Because I really would, I see a vision. When you talk about it, I have a vision in my mind, which is probably very different from yours.
Yeah.
But this is the thing where I really that's what gets me excited about, is saying, what is a better way to do that than the path did, for example,
right?
Or Facebook did. Can we create something better? The probability is no, but without trying, it's kind of. Because now we have the tools to do so. So the iteration phase, once the technical foundation is there, the iteration phase in the UI becomes extremely interesting. Because you say, okay, can I, like I showed you in the family tree things that the listeners haven't seen, but will see at some point, saying like rendering a family tree just as a tree is uninteresting, but rendering it in a timeline and adding context of history of Finland to align with people, to give context to these things. Again, photo apps don't do that, but your family has a trip to Finland or amusement park or something like that, and you could frame that as a context. Here's this event. Google tried to do it with albums, but you couldn't have albums inside albums, so it didn't really work. But there was something like this what they tried to do, but it could be quite interesting to think, okay, I want to cater to this idea of being part of an event, not just individual photo, although some photos are just going to be in the playground, if that's not an event.
Yeah, I guess in the end, when you're sharing a photo, what you're trying to say is like, you weren't there at that time, and I kind of want to share that moment when we were there and we enjoyed it, and either thought of you or just want to let everyone know we had this thing where I know. Anyway, I've taken the timeline thing out, but no doubt I'll be talking about it again.
No, it's not a problem. I just want to point.
No, I think it's good. I think these are the classic things, right? It's like somebody's got an idea in their head and it's like automatically channeling the UI in a certain way, right? But
which
maybe
is not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
I guess it's just the creating the UI and then discussing about that instead of concept, abstract ideas. Yeah.
So, okay, then we can just say some simple stuff like creating circles, and then just gonna say managing circles. Which would be kind of like, membership, roles, names. Anyway, deleting that there. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So backend set technical. So we need to have some. I think we need to Nextcloud core.
Yeah.
I think authentication is first. So that's not user authentication, user identity. That's how does somebody talk to the core? What is yeah.
I wonder if they are the same thing.
They might turn out to be the same. But I'm just going to put auth because I want authentication and authorization stuff as well. I think we're going to do stuff like caching.
Yeah, we probably do.
I think there's something we probably want to be able to have, which is it's not really a feature as such, but it might be kind of useful for prototyping, which is I can't think of any other way of saying it. So I hate calling it. Sounds so fancy. Hydrating, so basically, that we're not starting with this empty thing every day, right? I think it's a little bit more complicated than the last one where we just had like 4 or 5 pictures which we could use as test data. I think we're going to want to have at least enough test data that we can go, okay, here we're simulating a couple of circles, and because as the thing grows, as from a prototyping perspective, you kind of want to see how it feels as it grows over time and that sort of thing. So it might be an interesting part of prototyping, which is
well, the thing about this, what I suggest about this prototyping is that we hook it into real data as soon as we can.
Right.
Basically,
right.
just one of us or both have our own Nextcloud instance where we share our family stuff.
Yeah.
Because we use Nextcloud, I'm not worried about the security as long as the front-end app is built correctly. I'm just doing some research about Nextcloud. The API access and the user authentication is the same. So
great.
Our applications do need to use Nextcloud users, which is the right thing. That otherwise we would have to be responsible of login and all of that, which would be a bit scary. The principle of Nextcloud login is that the applications never handle a user password.
Good.
So that's good. It's like Auth0 or somebody else who takes the responsibility and they just share tokens. These are the stuff that the LLM can just hook it up literally in 5 minutes. We can get it working good. And then we just need to build user interface that changes the file permissions in Nextcloud. These teams or circles, whatever they call it, or just individual sharing, how we manage it is then, I think.
Okay, I don't want to overthink things too much. I just want to start, and this is probably, we can keep tweaking. I just wanted to give a little bit of a shape to how we're going to proceed. And I'm not even sure this is a good list yet. But
I think it's a good starting point. So again, let's get to code as soon as we can. Get something running as soon as we can. I recommend we do this, what you have in UX, we built this scaffolding directly. And we built this mock APIs to Nextcloud directly before the next stream. That's going to be uninteresting. So we start the next stream from having the UX, everything is there, all the pages are there. And the mock needs to be there because we need to get to user switching very quickly. Otherwise it doesn't, we can't even test it properly. We need to understand who's handling what. But at least have the framework scaffolding quickly.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So for you at the moment, the main, it sounds to me the main concern at the moment is before we get too deep into what the user interactions really feel like, we want to have a basic full stack working, right?
Yeah.
So
I want to have full scaffolding of all pages. That's a low-hanging UX exploration. Okay, clicking around, everything works. Then we need to hook it then into mock backend for rapid iterations, and we need to hook it to real Nextcloud as soon as we can, so we can start using real data to really understand how it feels. You can't build the UX. My hypothesis again, you can't build the UX complete until you're using real data and business logic of Nextcloud. So in my opinion, next stream we should be having it running against Nextcloud fully. But we should have, we should be able to log in. We should be able to pull photos that we are allowed to see. We should be able to upload photos when we are allowed to upload. And we should have all the screens done. If we have to do permission management or group management in the Nextcloud UI, that's fine. That's something that can be done. So whatever we can do on the Nextcloud, we don't have to build yet. But we need to be able to build two different roles, uploader and viewer, basically, to make sure we understand how these things work.
I think that's also, let me just do a thing in here, which is, right. And in a way, part of the scaffold is that's a terrible way of describing it. Data, right? So whatever we want to do that, and then, okay. So I think to get all of this working before the next stream is probably, I don't know. We'll see what we can do before the next stream, given the next stream's going to be tomorrow.
So I'm happy to take the front end and just build the scaffolding of the screens. So we have them in place before, because that's just a boring generate all of this and make sure everything clicks and rounds and work. But I think tomorrow's stream could be quite good to focus on the Nextcloud core and connection. I did a quick research, and there's 3 different ways to log in there. You can just log into Nextcloud directly using the kind of out. You can have device passwords, which is the one we don't want to do. So basically you can create one-time passwords for devices. That's too complicated. But you can just use OAuth 2 for server to server, which also will then work. So we have 2 options that we can use.
I think OAuth sounds like the way to go, right? Initially, I mean, that would be the first
Probably. It's just a normal thing to do. And then basically we have a bearer token that can be used to call APIs in the backend, which is exactly what we want to do. That's trivial. And that actually, interestingly, allows us to use whatever backend afterwards. if you want to. But that's the one I would go for. All of the LLMs are very good at figuring OAuth.
Yeah.
It's done a million times.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Cool.
Good. Okay. Let me. There you go.
Cool. Then I think we're done. Almost 2 hours, 1:45.
That's enough. That's enough of us for anybody
That's enough.
to deal with. Yeah.
Cool. Then thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Jasper. I'll see you tomorrow.
Cool. See you tomorrow.